Tuesday, December 16th, 2025. I will call the city council meeting to order. Clerk Everett, will you please call the roll?
Councilman Huckabee.
Here.
Councilman Johnson.
Here.
Councilman Lesko.
Here.
Councilman Schultz.
Here.
President Jekyll.
Here. Thank you. I invite everybody to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, moving on to item 4, consent agenda. The consent agenda outlined below is hereby presented for action by the city council. Items may be removed from the consent agenda on the request of any one council member. Items not removed may be adopted by one action without debate. Removed items may be taken up either immediately after the consent agenda or placed later on the agenda at the discretion of the council president.
I move to approve the consent agenda as listed, items 4A through AI, or 4I.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 5, public hearings. Tonight we have none. Item 6, public comment for matters on the agenda only. The city council will receive comments from city residents. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per individual. Anyone wishing to speak is required to sign up in advance or state the following items for the record when called upon: name, address, and contact information. Note for those following on Zoom, if you wish to speak, please raise your virtual hand. As note, the chat box is not monitored and those on the meeting must remain muted. Tonight we don't have anyone in person. If there's anyone on Zoom. Second call for anyone on Zoom. Seeing none, we'll close out public comment. Item 7, petitions, requests, and communications. 7A is a presentation from Jefferson County Financial Empowerment Center. Heather Nunes.
Yes, I will just mention, you have all heard me talk a few times about the Jefferson County Financial Empowerment Center. And we are lucky today to have Heather Nunez with the FEC to provide us with a presentation. So I'll let her introduce herself, make sure the green button is on, and I'll bring you the mouse here.
Perfect. Thank you. Again, my name is Heather Nunez. I work for Jefferson County, and I have since April here. One of my hats and what I'll be talking about today here is I'm the local government manager for the Jefferson County Financial Empowerment Center. So it's a newer program here to the county that I wanted to speak on, talk a little bit about the program and scheduling an appointment for those that are interested. So the FEC for Jefferson County, just a little background before we get started on kind of what it is here today. It was a bit of a lengthy process. It actually started back in 2023 with County Administrator Michael Lucky, saw the need for financial empowerment and financial wellness in our county and started the process of applying to become an FEC here at the county a couple years ago. I got a lot of different support throughout the community as we see the need here, and was able to kind of get the ball rolling a little bit a year later. And then a year after that, the implementation grant was received and signed right around the time shortly after I started with the county here. We started then building up our specific FEC for Jefferson County and had our public launch back in September here. So FECs, there's about 40 across the nation. We are one of the few rural county FECs, though. Most FECs take place in larger cities. So we've kind of had our own little caveats to kind of work with here and meet people where they're at. But kind of the structure of FECs across the county, or across the country, excuse me, the Cities for Financial Empowerment Fund created this model back in 2008 in New York City. And since then, they've been able to kind of copy and paste it with a couple adjustments here across the nation. They contract with a local government, so in our case, it's Jefferson County, and hire a local government manager, such as myself. We then contract with a financial counseling provider. In our case here, we are working with Community Action Coalition of South Central Wisconsin, and they have a program manager, and we've got 2 counselors here. So the 4 of us are working together here to bring this service to, again, the full county of Jefferson. So what exactly is a financial empowerment center? It's an initiative that offers professional one-on-one financial counseling at no cost for all of its residents. And that's both those who live or work in Jefferson County. A little bit of an asterisk there, for instance, Watertown being in both counties, we would serve all of Watertown too. So if it's on a bordering city, we would cover the whole city. The really big thing that we're excited about is that there's no cost to any of the participants. There isn't an eligibility criteria in terms of income. You can have no money, you can be a millionaire, and we're happy to help you with what your financial goals are. It is something that is one-on-one. It is not a financial literacy. We're happy to speak like I am here today about what the program is, but this isn't something where we go in and give, group pointers. It's really individualized based on the client's needs and the client's goals that they're setting for themselves and their household. It's a very professional service. Our counselors have gone through some very rigorous training through the CFE and really full-bodied training. This isn't just financial counseling, but they're looking at things like motivational interviewing and habit forming. And how is this a program and a system that can really help you long-term create, again, those habits to help sustain these goals for yourself? It's a program that's very integrated with the community. We have seen that nobody has just one need and one question, so we're happy to interact and engage with other local organizations and partners, departments across the county to really help people full service, right? So if we're out of scope of what your question is, how can we point you in the right direction? Who can we connect you with? And vice versa. It's a very data-driven program. The CFE created a model called FECBot. We collect over 200 pieces of data while we're working with our clients to really see, what the goals are, what we need to do to be able to meet them, and really drive the program from there. It's something too that we can also track things like where our referrals are coming from. So if we see a bigger need over here in Fort Atkinson, from the school district or what have you, we know where maybe we can focus and meet the needs here. It's a very sustainable program. Of all 40 FECs since 2008, none of them have shut down. It's not something that is funded solely by the CFE. We receive a grant for the first 2 years, but after that, the community backs it up. But it is government-led, like I said, to really give it the support that it needs to help drive it and continue it forward. The only requirements would be 18 years or older. So we have, for instance, looked at working with like school districts, but we're talking maybe more to some of those seniors as they're about to hit that age and what they can do to help prepare themselves. Some of the key services that were being offered with our counseling services, general money management, budgeting is really a big one here, reducing those expenses, minimizing current resources, or maximizing, current resources as well. Finding safe and affordable banking products. We do not have a service or we do not have a product that we're trying to sell. We're just a service. So we're not going to say you need to go over to X, Y, or Z bank, but we are learning about what our banking options are here across the county so that they can, again, provide recommendations based off of what the client's needs are on where it might be safe to do their banking products. So they're not, spending half their paycheck doing a cash check cashing service or something like that too. Establishing and building credit and increasing credit scores. We know that good credit helps you obtain more money in a cheaper way. Getting a mortgage, getting a car loan, some of these things that the worse situation you're in, the harder it is to make it happen and more expensive it is to make it happen. So we're helping with those credit scores as well. Decreasing debt and reducing delinquent accounts. So if you just need someone to help walk you through the process of calling debt collectors and getting your credit fixed that way, they're happy to do that with you. There's no too big, too small task here. They're here for whatever it is that you need need help with. Building savings and utilizing effective saving behaviors. Again, really looking at those habit forming techniques there. And protecting assets and preparing for legacy planning. FECs across the nation in October here rolled out legacy planning. So how can we help, establishing beneficiaries for your accounts? How can we have a partnership with Will and Trust? How can we create a will that's a $250 value for you for free to help get that rolling and get those things established for you? So again, those are kind of some of the key areas, but it really, again, is client driven and based off what your needs are financially. We do have some numbers, which I'll share on the next slide here, but since we are a little bit newer, just starting here in September, I do just want to share kind of across the nation what our FEC is doing. On average, our clients are seeing over $1,400 increase in savings. They're seeing a $2,400 debt reduction. They're seeing a 34-point credit score increase. and seeing an average of 2 delinquent accounts closed. So again, numbers are really showing the progress that clients are able to make across the county, or across the country, excuse me. But again, we just, even though we just started in September, we're very proud of the numbers we're already seeing with our clients. We've already seen over $38,000 of non-mortgage debt reduced across our county. We've already seen over almost $30,000 in savings increased. We have 4 different clients who have at least increased their credit score by 35 points. I know one just last week was 58, so we're really proud. And we're seeing at least 3 clients who have already reduced at least 1 delinquent account. There are some metrics kind of set by the CFE. So for instance, the 35 points is one of theirs. We've got a lot of clients who've maybe increased it lower than 35, but they're still seeing those increases and things like that too. So we're very proud of the work, because this is something that the clients need to put in work for too. We're happy to assist, but we know that this is a slow process at times. And it really shows the work that they're putting into. You know, this is also a service that is offered for as long as it's needed. So whether you need 3 appointments, whether you want to be with us for the next 3 years, we're happy to meet weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, whatever it looks like on your schedule and your needs as well too. Just a little bit more on that data collection. Like I said, 200 different metric points are being used. We're requiring verification. So this isn't just yeah, I increased my savings by $1,000. We're really trying to put that proof to it so we can really help guarantee those outcomes as well. And again, tracking referral partners has been a really helpful tool to meet the community where it's at, since we are so spread out across the county. One thing that we have done a little bit differently compared to other FECs is we have multiple co-locations. Since we're not, again, located in one large city, we're across the county here, we're really trying to meet people where they're at. So we have locations both at the Madison College campus in Fort Atkinson here and in Watertown. We're over at the Workforce Development Center in Jefferson, and also over at the Rock Lake Activity Center in Lake Mills, along with virtual appointments. So again, really trying to be where people are and where they need us to be. Right now, I would say we're about 2 days a week at each location by our counselors. But again, that's just currently based off of our needs. That can be very well adjusted over time. We're also in the process of establishing a phone line, so that, if you need to call and schedule your appointments that way, we can also go that route as well. But phone conversations in terms of appointments are already welcome too. So referral partners, like as I kind of mentioned here, have been a really important piece of what we're doing here, to really help people full body here. So we have that number is actually probably closer to 60 referral partners right now that we've been meeting with: social services, nonprofits, schools, employers, financial institutions. Finances are in every aspect of our life. So we've been really trying to meet those partnerships and educate and learn as well about what the rest of the community is doing too. We have links on both of Jefferson County and CAC's websites in order to learn more information or to make appointments as well. But different ways that you guys can help get involved. What we're doing here today, again, learning about the program, spreading the word to yourself, to your friends, your family, to your clients, consumers, other people in the community. Again, it's something that is sometimes a little hard to talk about, right? So sometimes having it, come from somebody that's already trusted can be really helpful to help the client make that first step forward and changing their goals here and helping us, letting us help them, excuse me. Sponsorships for the Jefferson County FEC, whether it be here with the council, whether it be in other avenues you're working with, whatever that looks like. Obviously, we're very open to those communications here. We're currently funded for the first few years, but we will be looking for continued sponsorship from the community. And becoming a referral partner. Like I said, if there's a way that we can integrate with what you're doing here or outside of here, where maybe they can receive some kind of a discount or an advantage, with your system by, showing that they've made progress with us, or vice versa, we'd be happy to have those kinds of continued conversations as well. As I mentioned, making an appointment, learning more information, we have links on both of our websites. All of our marketing materials also have a QR code. I did bring some hard copies here in the back for anybody present, and I can share them as well to hand out as well virtually. But we've got, once you're on the website here, like I said, there's multiple pieces of information about the program as well, and information for both new clients and returning existing clients as well. Just kind of brief overview for, again, scheduling an appointment here. You'll go on and you'll be able to create an account and have that two-step verification, just like most services. We're trying to obviously keep things very confidential, very private here with what we're talking about. You can choose to come in as an individual or a couple, whatever your household looks like and needs are. And we do have both English and Spanish speaking counselors, but we also do have pocket translators, so we're happy to work with many more than just those two languages as well. Again, we have got different locations, so you can select that, your date, time, and counselor. If the location of your choosing only has one counselor, you'll just see information about one. But if, for instance, if you want to do virtual, you'd be open to any of our 3 counselors total. And then there's a little bit of information that'll pop up about some demographics, a client service agreement that's required. And we do offer a soft credit pull authorization. So it won't be something that would hit your credit score, but it would be something to help verify and show where you're at with maybe limiting some of the work that the client needs to do in terms of finding some of that information too. You'll receive an email from your counselor once you've signed up with a little bit of more information, money tracker to help that budgeting piece get started if you're interested, talking a little bit more about the scope of our work, an additional waiver just from CAC as well. Once you make those appointments, I'd say your first one, if it's single, is probably about 90 minutes. The second one's maybe closer to 2 hours. But after that, it's usually about a 30 to 60-minute appointment based off your needs and wants. That first one's just really kind of more the deep dive into where you're at and where you're starting and what your goals are here too. With that, like I said, we've already got some really great community support here, and so I just want to kind of share and thank our partners currently. And again, thank you guys for letting me speak a little bit here today about it as well. I wanted to just open it up in case anyone has any additional questions. Otherwise, again, I've got some resources in the back.
How many individuals in the county have you helped so far?
We have about 50 clients so far, since September.
That's a pretty big start right off the bat, I'd say.
Yeah, we're very proud, but we know the needs out there, and so we're happy to help. I am one of those 50 clients. I think we can all benefit and learn a little bit more and improve, especially here around the holidays, right? So, no, it's been a really great program, and we're seeing some really great results already.
Where do the counselors come from?
They have multiple backgrounds. Some are coming maybe from more of the banking world, and some have worked within just multiple programs across. I wanted to say like community resources as well. But again, they've all been going through, it's about a 3-month training program to really help deep dive into the financial counseling piece.
And are they volunteers or?
No, they're CAC employees.
Yeah. Okay.
I just want to mention I attended the CAC annual lunch meeting.
The Rewind event.
What's that?
The Rewind? Was it?
Yes, the
Yeah.
Rewind,
Yeah.
CAC Rewind. It was right here in Fort Atkinson at the Riverstone about 2 weeks ago, and Michael Lucky actually received an award for his role in bringing the FEC to Jefferson County. And there were a lot of statistics like you mentioned, and after that meeting, because I've talked about it through my city manager's report a number of times, but we need somebody from there to come and explain it, and hopefully we can all, with our connections, both employees and other folks we know in the community, just encourage people to use it and make it worthwhile.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And yeah, that was a really great accomplishment for Michael Lucky. It was wonderful to see him receive that award. He worked very hard to get this up and off the ground. So happy to take the ball and keep it running though.
Well, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Moving on to item 8, resolutions and ordinances. Tonight we have none. Item 9, reports of officers, boards, and committees. 9A is city manager's report. Manager Hausman.
Thank you. On December 3rd, the city held a workshop to review a commissioned report on the water issues in the Kashkanan Estates subdivision. Staff received feedback from the city council, property owners, and residents relating to options for the infrastructure and undeveloped land. We are working on scheduling a meeting in January with stakeholders to have some additional discussion, which will eventually come back to this body. I attended the League of Wisconsin Municipalities Urban Alliance meeting on December 11th in Brookfield. Those present discussed strategy and advocacy for the next few sessions of the state legislature. We also heard from the Metropolitan Milwaukee Association of Commerce CEO, Dale Kuyanga, on the state of the economy in Wisconsin in general and in southeastern Wisconsin in particular. That was a great session there. Property tax bills were mailed by the city late last week. I want to remind the public that there are 4 taxing jurisdictions that have authority to levy property taxes, including the city, the school district, the county, and the technical college. So no one enjoys paying that bill for the services that those entities provide, but I just request that everyone is kind to the city's team as they pay their bills. As I'm sure people have noticed, John's Disposal has delivered new garbage and recycling carts to several areas of the city for use in 2026. Just a couple reminders on that. Please continue to use your GFL carts until the end of the year. On or around the last collection, GFL will pick up those old carts. If you have not received carts from John's yet, please be patient. As of Monday, John's reported that they have delivered about 52% of the carts to the city. So we have another 48% over the next week or two. Please contact John's if you want to change your cart sizes or anything of that nature. And always feel free to email our email address, refuse@fortatkinsonwi.gov if you've got other questions. Again, adding that special charge for garbage and recycling collection is a significant change, but one needed to contribute to the long-term financial stability of the city. So I appreciate everybody's patience and understanding while we work through the transition of these services. Also, just want to remind everybody to license dogs and cats for 2026. License applications are due on April 1, using cash or check, and can be mailed, placed in the Dropbox, or paid when you pay your property taxes. Project Lead will be here tomorrow morning for a presentation at 8 a.m. and then a tour of our lovely municipal building. And the Horde Historical Museum is still celebrating its holiday open house until Saturday, December 20th. Visitors are welcome to stop by for take-home craft kits, seasonal treats, and more. The vintage Christmas trees and ornaments are also on display. And I just want to note that there is a 5th Tuesday in December. So our next council meeting will be on Tuesday, January 6th, 2026. And this is also when nomination paperwork is due to run for city council. And that's all I have. Just happy holidays for everyone here.
Thank you. Moving on to item 10, unfinished business. Tonight we have none. Item 11, new business. 11A, review and possible action relating to the rescheduling of city council meetings to accommodate the 2026 elections. Clerk Hibbert.
Thank you. As you may know, in 2026, even years, we typically have 4 elections. As of right now, we are unsure of a February election. Elections occur on Tuesday, as council knows, just as our council meetings. City Code Ordinance 2/52 allows the city council meeting to reschedule to a Thursday to accommodate the election schedule for staff to work at the election, to assist the election inspectors, but then also for council to not have to worry about coming to the council meeting, where it also provides them the opportunity to vote. So I do request the council consider to reschedule the council meetings in 26 to accommodate the elections. We'd be looking for, again, unsure of the spring primary in February. So as soon as we would know that, it would be the first week of January. So we'd be sure to let council know right away of that reschedule. If it is necessary, the Tuesday, February 17th would go to Thursday, February 19th.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. Tuesday, April 7th meeting would be rescheduled to Thursday, April 9th. The August election is not affected as it is on the 3rd Tuesday of the month, so no concerns there. That could interfere with the Plan Commission, but that's typically not an issue. And then finally, Tuesday, November 3rd would be rescheduled to Thursday, November 5th. Again, happy to answer any questions of the council.
I move to approve the rescheduling of city council meetings as recommended in the staff report to accommodate the 2026 election.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 11B, review and possible action relating to appointment of election inspectors for a 2-year cycle. Clerk Everett again.
Thank you. As we are on the theme of elections, election officials defined as an individual who's charged with the duties related to the conduct of an election. This could be anyone serving on election day in the form of a greeter, registering new voters, processing absentee ballots, directing voters to the ballot table, having voters check in at the Badger Book, conducting the management through the voter putting the ballot into the DS300 machine, and then also pointing the direction of the exit to the voter, as many still struggle with the flow of the room, but we try to keep it consistent for everybody. Election inspectors are appointed on a 2-year basis. On the list provided, you will see there are election inspectors that were recommended from political parties. Political parties are available to provide a recommended list. All election inspectors do receive a minimum of 2 hours training a year. We did conduct 2 trainings in November, and then I do plan another training in January to accommodate any of them that did not make it to November, but they still want to have their training in before the first election. We always do what's called a public test before every election. That's when we run test ballots through the DS300 machines to confirm that the DS300 machine is prepared to read the ballot. That's also an opportunity for election inspectors to come have training. We have badger books set up. We go over anticipation for election day, the flow of the day, and any positions or anything that's going to be on the ballot. So I would recommend that the council appoint the election inspectors for the election cycle beginning January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2027. And happy to answer any questions any of the council may have.
I move to approve the appointment of election inspectors included on the list in the staff report for the 2-year election cycle starting January 1st, 2026 and ending on December 31st, 2027.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion?
It is a good list of amount of names on there. Are you, that's, we're in a good spot with.
We're in a great spot.
Good.
So much that people are sad when they don't get to work. So I will say with the implementation of Badger Books in 2019, we went from 2 shifts of needing 16 to 19 people per shift, down to 3 shifts where we made maybe 7 or 8 people per shift. So it's a lot easier when you're only working 4.5 hours. They're able to get up and walk away and take breaks. And I even have some inspectors that come back in the evening to help take down the room and go through, finalize any reports we have at the end of the night. So we're very fortunate to have a great group.
Anything else? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item C, review and possible action relating to a 1-year intergovernmental agreement with the town of Koshkonong for building inspection services. Director Drager.
I have to turn it off before I adjust it, otherwise it makes weird noises. The town of Koshkonong approached city staff a couple months ago. They realized that they were losing, or the city of Lake Mills was losing their on-staff building inspector, and that they would be switching over to a independent contract service for that, and then still be going through the city of Lake Mills, making the city of Lake Mills an intermediary for the most part. Going back a little bit in time, the town did approach city staff for a similar arrangement back in 2023 when they were losing their their building inspection services. Ultimately, they decided to go with City of Lake Mills because the inspector that was now employed by the City of Lake Mills was their previous inspector. So it made more sense for them to stick with somebody that was familiar with the community. Since then, things have changed, and they approached the city for a similar conversation. The city worked with the town to establish some fees that are different from the city's fees, as city staff will be spending time outside the city, traveling a greater distance for some of these. So it was important to realize the actual cost of city staff going to do the inspections and make sure that was recouped by the city from the town. This contract is only for building inspection, building electric, HVAC, and plumbing inspections, no zoning. There is no fence permits. Basically, it's just those building codes that are handled here. The arrangement is the city collects the fees for those permits. The city issues the permits and then sends back the portion of those fees to the town on a monthly basis, which is 20% of the total collected fees. The proposed contract also has a fixed amount in there. So if the permits collected were to not reach a certain amount, $10,000 worth, the town would owe back to the city the remainder of that amount that was not collected. So there is a guaranteed amount with the contract, but given their past permit history, that should be easily achieved on their behalf to not have to write any check to the city. If you look back in the memo there, some of their past fee amounts, this last year was a little different as they were going through some of these changes, so the recording is not real well established, but the 2023 amount was 45, almost $46,000, and 2024 was close to $40,000. So the city of Port Atkinson would keep 80% of those fees. So that makes it worthwhile. And then given the number of permits, say 2024, there was only 57 permits compared to over 1,000 that the city of Port Atkinson typically does. So it's a relatively small percentage, not a large increase in workload. So staff feels that it's is easily achievable, and a very low amount of workload, added to the department. I will also point out the town of Castrona did approve the same contract and fees at their last meeting last Wednesday on the 10th as part of their annual budget meeting. And that city staff does recommend the city council direct the city manager to enter in a 1-year intergovernmental agreement with the town of Castrona for building inspection services for 2026. And before you go on with that, the reason for the 1-year limit there is for both parties to kind of establish if there are any adjustments that need to be made rather than going into a long-term commitment. Both the city and the town would be able to come back together and make some adjustments in that contract or fees if those are felt to be needed. But I welcome any questions that you may have.
So there's enough room in your schedule now for these additional services?
Yes, yeah. When you start looking at the number of permits, 57, you divide those out over the 12 months.
Okay,
On top of that, about half of those are electrical permits, which would be handled by Jeff Armstrong,
okay,
who's our electrical inspector.
okay.
And we did sit down with him and make sure that his schedule would, allow for that as well. And he assured us that that would not be a problem.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Your memo referenced that there could be some potential opportunities for some state grants
Yes.
down the road. What would the grants cover, or what could they cover?
That would cover a portion of the, maybe Manager
Yeah.
Houseman could explain that a little better than I can.
So the DOR has these innovation fund grants, and those are to encourage collaboration and consolidation of services amongst different municipalities, school districts, tribal governments. The reason we're not eligible with this agreement is because it has to be at least 3 years. The agreement has to be 3 years to be eligible for the grant program. So, and there is an agreement between those two entities. So let's say if this works out really well this first year and we want to do a 3-year agreement, and then if there are still funds available, we would apply to the DOR. We would have to come to an agreement with the town as to who would receive how much of the grant funds. The grant funds are based on 25% of the transferor's cost to provide the service before the transfer. So basically 25% of these permit fees, well, it's 80% of the permit fees that are listed in Jed's memo, that 45,926. So it would be 80% of that is technically the town's cost to provide that service in 2023. The grant would make us eligible for 25% of that 80%. So one of the reasons we didn't apply or make this a 3-year agreement to apply right away is because we did all of that math and we said, is it worth locking us in for 3 years for this pretty small grant amount that we would somehow have to split with the town, right? I mean, we did the math, it was like $9,000. So instead we decided we would do a trial for 1 year. And if it worked out well, we could do some tweaks, maybe enter into a 3-year. And then if those funds were still available, we could apply for the grant.
Okay, thanks. And the only other question I have, so the 80-20 share of the permits, I assume that's because you or someone for the city would handle 4/5 or so of the work and 1/5, or how is the
Yeah, it's
80/20 or-
proportionate to the amount of effort there. Yeah. 80, at least 80% will be done by city staff. It's, you know, they do have some work to be done on their part if it goes into code enforcement. Uh, Initial code enforcement or orders could be written by my department, but anything further than that is handled by the town. So as well as supplying the stamps required for new homes and things along those lines. So they do have some effort to put into it.
And 80/20 is pretty standard
Correct.
as far as private building inspection services, retaining 80% of those permit fees and submitting 20% back to the municipality.
Right. The goal is to be competitive as well.
This is for both commercial and residential inspections?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And then if looking back at their records, they have very few commercial inspections that are required. And of those, the majority are electrical once again.
Okay.
I move to approve the 1-year intergovernmental agreement with the town of Koshnan for building inspection services and authorize the city manager to execute it.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item D, review and possible action relating to an extraterritorial certified survey map for a property located at W6116 Star School Road in the town of Koshkonong. Director Drager again.
Hello. Yes, so this is a 2-acre parcel that the owners would like to break off from the parent parcel. If you remember, a month and a half, October, we had one come forward with the last name Yoder. That was actually right next door to this one. Almost identical situation. Parent parcel separating off a buildable lot. This one does have a couple small notations that you'll see in the memo of some small mapping errors that were brought forth by the city engineer. So I included them in here so they make sure that they get added to the map. This will be also similar to that previous one where the property extends out into the right of way, and the city is not city staff is recommending waiving that requirement as once again, speaking with the town and the county, they are not going to be asking for that, and it is outside of the city's future potential long-range urban growth area. So we do not feel it is needed to push for that one. Once again, anytime if the property would be closer to the city limits, that would definitely be something that city staff would be recommending. But in this situation, after speaking with the county and the town, and they would not be pursuing that, we recommend that the city council waive that requirement.
And the Plan Commission did take a look at this at their meeting on December 9th and did recommend that the city council approve subject to the correction of the mapping errors listed in the memo and waiving the requirement for the road dedication.
Correct.
I move to approve the extraterritorial certified survey map for the property located at W6116 Star School Road in the town of Koshkonong with the conditions outlined in the staff report.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. 11E, review and possible action relating to a request from the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation to return unused capital catalyst revolving loan funds. Manager Hausman.
Thank you. As this body knows, the city received a $300,000 capital catalyst grant in 2020 from the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, or WEDC. The city matched that grant for a total of $600,000 and created the Capital Catalyst Revolving Loan Fund, which has been included in the last few budgets as Fund 21. And the goal of this was to provide low interest loans to revolving loans to new businesses and those less than 5 years old of up to $100,000 at either a 2 or 4% interest rate. So this city has been successful since 2022 in using $447,000 of those funds over 6 different projects. But there is $153,000 left in that fund that has not been deployed. The deadline to deploy those funds was actually 18 months after disbursement, which was in October of 21. And then we did go ahead and amend the contract in September of 24 to revise that deadline to be 40 months. And that did expire on February 7th, 2025. So given that the deadline has passed and that there are no imminent awards to be made, the WEDC has requested one half of the balance, or $76,500 to be returned to WEDC to be redeployed in a different way. So if the council does approve that, there will still be $76,500 in the Capital Catalyst Revolving Loan Fund for disbursement for new loan award winners. In addition, all of the loaned funds, that $447,000 plus those interest payments, will eventually be returned to the fund for redeployment. So while it is unfortunate that we may have to return some of those funds, we still have $76,500 plus all of the loan funds that will revolve back into that fund over the next few years to maintain this fund and maintain availability of funds to loan out to folks who are interested in this. Let's see. WEDC will provide us with an invoice. They're waiting for some additional data from us. We would like to get this done and on the books in 2025, which is why it is before the council tonight. Staff does recommend that the city council approve that payment subject to receipt of the invoice of $76,500 to WEDC, representing half of the remaining undeployed funds from the city's Capital Catalyst Revolving Loan Fund. And I would be happy to answer any questions from the council on this.
All these loans currently paying back as we speak technically, or?
All but one.
Okay.
Yep. The smallest loan there, Papa Bronx, is not current on their loan, and we're working through the loan docs right now to determine a path forward.
Is there any likelihood that the state may ask for more of that back at some point as the outstanding loans are paid back and that fund replenishes itself? I mean, this is sort of like
This is it.
This is the
Yeah.
chunk that they would like back,
And actually, the benefit of doing this is that it will eliminate our reporting requirements to the WEDC, which I think will eliminate some of the gray hair that Clerk Ebert and I have received through the several years of reporting through. It's been very challenging. Their reporting systems have changed multiple times over the last couple of years, so it's been a bit of a lift. So returning their half of the undeployed funds kind of releases us from those reporting requirements, which is a positive thing for us.
that's good. Do you know, does the state's Economic Development Corporation, does it have specific things in mind with the money that it gets back from the program? I mean, I assume they would continue with their mission of assisting economic development projects. But,
Yeah, I don't know what they would do with these particular funds. They have this Capital Catalyst. We applied for that grant through a Capital Catalyst program. So my guess is that that would be returned to that program and redistributed to another loan recipient.
Term wise on these loans, are we like, how many years are kind of the average on them? If it's,
I think the longest one is 10. The longest one is 10, and they go from, I think the shortest one is 5 years. So I think it's 5, 7, or 10.
see most of that money in the next 5 to 10 years back.
We are, and I will add that a couple of them round up their payments, which just applies to more principal. So it is, everyone is very current on payments with the exception of the one. Everyone's very proactive and working ahead. So as Manager Hausman said, the funds are replenishing just as fast as had they went out.
It's kind of surprising that there was a balance left. We need more businesses. No.
I mean, we have tried, to market this program, with a 2% interest rate. I am just as surprised as you. I would think that would be more businesses that would take advantage of this. We tried to be pretty, general in the requirements, as well. So it is a new business or one that's less than 5 years old. There were some, targeted, areas of business, but the loan committee, so the Economic Development, Commission, established a loan review committee to review all of these, to review the loan applications. So they get assistance through Thrive ED, who commissions the underwriting for the loan, right? Because we have very talented people on our EDC, but they're not necessarily underwriters. So we have support, from JCEDC and Thrive ED at the county level, which means, they've been marketing it as well. So we're trying to, attract businesses, and we have money. We just haven't been successful in deploying all of it.
I move to approve the payment of 76,500 to the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, representing half of the remaining unused funds in the city's Capital Catalyst revolving loan fund.
Second. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 11F, review and possible action to authorize the city manager to execute the 2026 joint powers agreement with Jefferson County for the county 911 emergency system. Manager Hausman.
Thank you. This matter comes before the council, every year around this time. It is, simply an agreement between the city and Jefferson County, to ensure that vehicles, that are dispatched within the city limits and vehicles that are dispatched by the county outside of the city limits, are able to, render aid to the persons needing the services regardless of jurisdictional boundaries. So, executing this agreement will allow for the city, for our emergency vehicles to respond outside their jurisdiction and others to respond inside our jurisdiction. And staff does recommend that the city council authorize the city manager to execute the joint powers agreement for 2026.
I move to authorize the city manager to execute the 2026 joint powers agreement with Jefferson County for the county 911 emergency system.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 11G, review and possible action to the proposal for public tree inventory and urban forestry management plan. Superintendent Williamson.
Yes, good evening. As President Jekyll indicated, this item before you is for a public tree inventory and a urban forestry management plan. So pursuant to the city of Fort Atkinson's approved comprehensive plan, the Department of Public Works is in part responsible for the health and welfare of many areas of the city. One of these areas is, of course, the tree canopy within the city-owned public lands. The city's tree canopy is an important natural resource to the area, and it requires very active maintenance and care. Part of Chapter 4 of the comprehensive plan indicates and recommends maintaining the status of Tree City through the city or through the Department of Natural Resources. And in support of the comprehensive plan, and Tree City status, the city staff of the Public Works Operations Division budgeted funds for 2025 and 2026 to the operating budget for the development and preparation of an urban forestry management plan to help assist. This will help assist the department in managing the city's tree canopy. This plan will help the division with future applications for any and all available state and federal funds through grants. It'll assist in the care and management of the tree canopy. It'll also assist in future planning and scheduling of regular maintenance programs, and it'll help us develop a more biologically diverse replanting program. So as part of this support for the comprehensive plan, staff did prepare a request for proposal, and we solicited proposals for the evaluation, preparation, and development of a long-term urban forestry management plan. This RFP was completed and transmitted to 4 of the state-supported and certified DNR recommended providers, shown in the table below, and I apologize, the table is really tiny. But the first one was Davy Resource Group, which is part of the Davy Tree Service, First Choice Tree Care, Great Lakes Urban Forestry, and Wachtel Tree Service. Of the 4 that we transmitted to, we received 1 proposal. And that proposal came from Great Lakes Urban Forestry. And that was submitted also including 2 completed examples of these long-term urban forestry plans. That's also included with this memo. The total cost of the project proposed submitted by Great Lakes Urban Forestry was $13,040. And the Operations Division budgeted in 2025 for this line item and the amount of $10,000. And also in 2026 budgeted a line item to include $2,500 for the completion of this proposed urban forestry plan. We are proposing the remaining $540 will be paid for using other operational funds, such as the operations supply account, to cover that extra $540 overage. Staff recommends the council approve the contract and evaluation for and preparation of the public tree inventory and urban forestry management plan with Great Lakes Urban Forestry in the amount of $13,040 and authorize the city manager to execute the contract. I'm sorry I read that, but there was a lot of information in there, and I tried to memorize it and I failed.
I just have a couple questions on
Sure.
the plans that are put in place.
Mhm.
The state and federal grants require us to have a plan in order to submit for those, correct?
So based on the way the DNR reviews those applications, you're awarded points for certain areas within those applications. And you are looked at favorably if you have a long-term plan in place. And with these funds, you'll be managing the long-term and following your long-term plan. So they can see what you're laying out before them. So you're telling them, we have a plan, this is the plan we're implementing, and these are where the funds are going to go. They're more apt to give you points in favor of awarding those grant funds.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you.
This is just for trees that are like within the street right of way or
Any,
all-
any city-owned property. So we're asking them to evaluate what we have currently inventoried, which is basically the 4,400 or 4,500 trees within the terrace areas. But we're going to ask them, we asked them in the request for proposal that they consider all publicly owned lands, excluding largely forested areas. So we're not going to ask them to go into a detailed plan for some heavily forested areas, but any area where they have access, public access to these trees and the tree canopy, they're going to review that for us.
so such as Jones Park.
Parks? Yep.
Rock River Park would be like one or.
Correct. Rock River Park, the south end of Rock River Park, we have a lot of individual trees along the roadways. Those trees will be evaluated and be considered as part of the plan. The heavily forested and wooded area on the far north end, we're going to ask them to do kind of a cursory review, but in order to save costs, we're not going to have a detailed inventory up in there.
Okay.
What does managing the city public tree canopy necessarily entail? Like based on the inventory, maybe tell you like if you're at risk because you're too heavily densely populated with ash trees.
Correct. Yeah. So the plan itself and the 2 examples that they provide, it lays out 10 or 15 steps within the process. But part of this is to evaluate the current canopy of where we're at right now, and that gives us a good graph of where we are in terms of the density of, say, maples and the density of ash trees and the density of locust trees. And it gives us an idea of where that curve falls. It will allow us then to diversify our planting plans in order to accommodate maybe better recommended trees with lifespans that are less affected by current blights that are out there right now. On top of that, it will give us a plan to follow for any maintenance, normal maintenance activities. It'll give us an idea of the amount of trees that we have within our current system that require comprehensive pruning. Right. And they'll follow that. It breaks the trees out by a diversified group too. So some trees you need to be more active in pruning and others grow more naturally without requiring pruning. It gives us a good idea in the long term what we'll need to do over the next, say, 5 to 10 years to manage the existing canopy and what we can do to supplement and plant within that canopy to help reduce and control costs of maintenance within the current canopy.
Need a motion?
Yep.
All right. I move to approve the contract for the public tree inventory and urban forestry management plan from Great Lakes Urban Forestry, Inc. for a cost not to exceed $13,040 and authorize the city manager to execute.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. 11H, review and possible action relating to a request to order G-Tech body camera fleet and in-squad video recording system at a cost not to exceed $25,847. Please, Captain Lindsay.
Evening, everyone. As noted, I'm here to discuss the permission to order our G-Tech body camera fleet and our G-Tech in-squad video recording systems. To provide a little background to you, our current system was purchased in 2020 and with an estimated lifespan of about 4 years. We've pushed that as far as we can, and it's becoming obvious now that our system is out of its lifespan has ended. Of the 12 original purchased, we're down to about 5. And over this past year, we've noticed glitches, uploading errors, and complete failures of individual cameras that have knocked us down to a total of 5 cameras currently that are deployed and used 24/7 throughout the city by the officers that they wear on their uniforms. The total quote to replace those 12 cameras is $16,489. That would cover the purchase, installation, and deployment of the new fleet of body cameras. In addition to that, the department's also in need of 2 G-Tech in-squad camera recording systems. Those are consistent with all of our recording systems that are in our fleet of vehicles. And one of the systems would be utilized in the new squad car that was approved by this council last session when Captain Hefty was here. And the additional unit would be deployed and replace an aging system in one of the current squad cars. The total quote for the in-car camera systems is $9,358, and that will cover the purchase and deployment of both of those systems. The total quote for body cameras as well as the in-car systems is $25,847. The purchase and replacement of the squad camera systems in our body camera inventory is absolutely essential to our operations. It increases our ability to gather evidence, officer accountability, and it really does protect our officers and the organization. We did not test or review any other products. Midwest Public Safety is our sole vendor for our G-Tech platform. They are the best fit for our agency. They are integrated throughout our agency, whether it's in our cars, on our officers, or in our recording systems or booking rooms throughout the department. And then they also allow a back-end client that allows us to do evidence sharing with other agencies as well as our district attorney's office for hopefully successful prosecution with our investigations. And again, G-Tech is very consistent with the rest of the systems that we have throughout our agency. With that, I don't have any competitive or comparison quotes, and that complies with the purchasing guidelines outlined in the Financial Stability Guidebook, Section 1.9, Sub 3. Midwest Public Safety is our sole vendor for our deployable video and audio recording platforms, and the items quoted are the current version to replace what we already have. So we're not looking to upgrade anything. We're simply looking to replace because our fleet of body cameras and our squad systems are starting to age out and are at end of life. The funds to purchase the new fleet of body cameras and in-squad cameras comes from the 2026 capital improvement budget that was outlined in the police department budget. And that budget item was outlined at $26,000, and our quotes are coming in just under budget at $25,847. As you can see in the memo, the broad strokes of the items are listed there, but hopefully everyone received the detailed quotes from Midwest Public Safety for the grand total of $25,847. I would like to move forward and obtain final approval from the City Council to execute the order for the G-Tech body-worn cameras and the in-car systems not to exceed the quoted amount of $25,847. If approved, the order will be placed tomorrow to avoid any unnecessary price increases. And I'd be happy to answer any questions about that.
So with just 5 working, are there officers out there without cameras?
No, with the exception of special events like the holiday parade that we just had.
Okay,
That only is the body cameras. All of the squad cars currently have in-car systems. Our
okay.
marked patrol fleet, our unmarked patrol fleet does not.
Do you have officers coming off shift that then have to turn over the cameras to those coming on because we're down to 5?
Luckily, no. Typically, we have a staffing minimum of 2 officers, and at most, we have 4 to 5 officers working. So usually that gives time for the cameras to be docked, downloaded, charged for them, about 8 hours for them to grab another one.
Okay. And will the 5, can you keep those? Will they
Um,
update them or no?
We can,
Mhm.
but they are getting to the point that we are sometimes losing video. And luckily, we've never lost anything that is critical.
Okay,
But at this point, they're not worth, they wouldn't be, it wouldn't be responsible for us to continue to deploy them in the community.
okay. Thank you.
I think it's been proven many times, body cameras are a very valuable asset to a police department. I'm glad you guys keep bringing this forward and are trying to keep up to date with technology.
Absolutely. I wouldn't want to be out there without one.
Yeah.
I move to approve the GTAC body worn cameras and the in-squad video recording system at a cost not to exceed $25,847 as included in the 2026 CIP.
Second,
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
11I, review and possible action relating to North Main Street Sanitary Sewer Design Task Order, Director Naven.
Good evening. The sanitary sewer on the east side of North Main Street, which had the 100 block, which is right across the river from us here, currently runs through the basements of the businesses. The sanitary is an old clay pipe that is well past its useful life and in poor condition. Staff actually got an opportunity to see this pipe this summer and see it through the basements of some of those businesses to see the shape it's really in, which was quite eye-opening. So this summer, Premier Bank had submitted a concept plan for initial review of a planned unit development proposal for the Plan Commission to build a parking lot on North Water Street East on properties that the bank currently owns. There are several steps that need to take place before this project could be approved, including a formal PUD submittal to the Plan Commission and a general development plan and zoning map amendment, which would come before the council for review. But through this, staff has identified this proposal as an opportunity to take advantage of construction and potentially relocate the sanitary sewer that is currently located in the basements of the businesses on the east side of North Main Street, as shown in the attached sanitary sewer map. There's a sanitary main that runs through those properties on North Main, and that is this referenced outdated pipe that we're referring to. So staff proposes to work with Rupert and Milky to redesign this pipe to come through the parking lots behind the properties on North Main Street and the proposed lot on North Water Street East. The task order recommended by staff is for the design of the sanitary sewer, as staff would be prepared if the proposed Premier Bank parking lot were to move forward. And if the lot were not to move forward, staff still believes that this design should be completed for future construction consideration. Long story short, even if that doesn't happen, this is our best plan moving forward. It will not hurt us to have these plans on the shelf ready to go. The proposal from Rooker and Milky is $29,360 for design work. The sanitary sewer utility has operating funds available for the design work. The design will include the engineer's estimate of construction, the total cost of construction, has been included in the 2026 budget, which has not been included in the 2026 budget. After costs are determined and if Premier Bank parking lot construction is approved and moves forward, staff will bring the potential costs of the sanitary sewer relocation project back to the city for council review. Staff recommends approving the task order 2025-8 from Rooker and Milky for the design and construction services in North Main Street sanitary sewer redesign in an amount not to exceed $29,360. And with that, any questions?
I just have a curiosity question. With the old pipes, are we at a higher risk that if they fail, have to be ready to go to solve the problem?
Yeah, I mean, if they were to fail, we would find short-term solutions, but we would really put us into an urgent spot to find a long-term solution there to correct that.
Okay.
And
we
There
have
there
this.
have been issues in this.
Yeah, we only
sewer.
clean this pipe with certain equipment because of its condition, right? Where we're already afraid that if it's clean too strongly, if you will. We're gonna risk that, and yeah, from seeing that pipe this summer, if that were to happen, we would have full basements on Main Street.
Okay, thank you.
Do you know if we have more locations where sanitary sewer runs through private basements?
This is the one I've been made aware of in my first 6 months here, but wouldn't be surprised.
Okay.
I move to approve the North Main Street Sanitary Sewer Design Task Order with Ruker and Milky on an amount not to exceed $29,360 funded by the wastewater utility.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. 11J, review and possible action relating to amendment number 1 to task order 2025-02, 2026 road rehabilitation and water relay design project. Director.
Thank you. Back in January of 2025, the City Council awarded the bid to Ruger and Milky for the 2026 road rehabilitation and water relay design project and task order 2025-02, which was approved on February 7th of 2025. Staff has since moved the construction of this project to 2027 due to increased costs in the 2026 South Main Ped Path project and water relay. This work will now be known moving forward as the 2027 road rehabilitation and water relay design project. Ruker and Milky staff have been working on the design for the approved task order and have addressed several questions and clarifications that have added additional scope to the original task order. These items include extending the project limits on Jefferson Street to extend from White Street to Blackhawk, essentially just completing Jefferson Street there, that last block, extending some stormwater infrastructure from North High Street to White Street, redesigning the alley at the intersection of Oak Street and Harrison Street to create a safer intersection for pedestrians and drivers. If you're familiar with that intersection right now, it's kind of comes out at an intersection. The alley comes out at an intersection, so we're just trying to pull that alley onto a side street to make that a safer intersection there. And then extending the project limits on Oak Street to design a cul-de-sac at the end of Oak Street, removing the dead end and improving public works and emergency vehicles vehicular access. And then finally allowing Ruker and Milky staff to complete a thorough inspection of all sanitary and storm infrastructure within the project area to ensure repairs are identified in drawings prior to construction being bid out. Whereas historically, this has been done after the project has started and we've had to come back to if there are extensive costs associated with it. So we'd just like to get ahead of that and know what we're getting into. As noted in the task order amendment attached, a few of the scope changes have previously been authorized by staff, including narrowing Jefferson Street and redesigning the Heth and Clover intersection. These improvements will reduce impervious surfaces and create a safer intersection. As noted below, the original task order cost was $61,644, and the proposed amendments cost $36,912 for a new total of $98,556 for the design of the 2027 road rehabilitation and water relay project. The additional $36,912 will be paid out of the stormwater, water, and wastewater utility funds, as well as Fund 5. Each fund is assigned a percentage of the fee based on their overall percentage of the project. Staff recommends the approval of amendment number 1 of task order 2025-02 for the 2027 road rehabilitation and water relay project not to exceed $36,912. Any questions?
I move to approve amendment number 1, task order 2025-02, 2020, should it be 2027?
Yes.
Road rehabilitation and water relay design project at a cost not to exceed $36,912.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. 11K, review and possible action relating to the purchase and replacement of 10 tires for the Fort Atkinson Fire Department tender 8191, Fire Chief Peterson.
All right, good evening.
Evening.
I'm here tonight to seek approval for the replacement of 10 tires for tender 8191, which is a 2002 Sterling tandem axle used for rural water supply operations. Little background, these tires are approaching the DOT and NFPA 10-year service life threshold, making replacement necessary prior to the 2026 DOT inspection. Our recommended vendor is J&L Tire out of Johnson Creek. They are a trusted service provider authorized to work on emergency vehicles. They're capable of performing other work on the vehicles if needed, and our department only uses vetted, authorized vendors to work on our emergency equipment, which J&L has continued to satisfy those requirements for us. I will also note they do most of the emergency vehicles within Jefferson County. So, a little background on tender 8191. Like I said, it's a 2002 Sterling. It's extremely heavy, fully loaded, 3,000 gallon tender of water. Close to 50,000 pounds, of which 25,000 pounds is the water weight. This vehicle handles a little differently than our other emergency vehicles we have and over-the-road trucks. Tire selection, installation, and proper alignment work are critical to safe operation of this unique vehicle. I think we'd be lax in our safety oversight to allow any service, just any service to work on these types of vehicles. Also, additional work may be necessary to ensure proper performance and safety, including alignment, spin balancing, tire siping, which is designed to improve traction and wear. We did seek other bids to ensure J&L quote was reasonable. We received a quote from Jack's Tire for $7,463, which is $414 less than J&L, and Pomps Tires out of Janesville for $7,804.80, which was about $73 less than J&L. Since the cost of J&L is within the quotes obtained and they are an authorized emergency vehicle service center, we feel the extra cost is appropriate. Another note, as far as the funding with the new township fire and EMS contract, the city of Fort Atkinson now owns both tenders outright. However, by contract, the townships will bear the total cost of those repairs and tires, so there will be no cost to the department's budget or the general fund. The cost for the tires comes to $7,878.40, which will be paid out of the rural vehicle fund. With that, staff recommends City Council approves the purchase of 10 tires from J&L Tire out of Johnson Creek for the amount of $7,877.90. I can take any questions anybody has on tires.
Is R&H in town here? Are they certified for emergency vehicles?
I don't know. We've never used them before, to be honest with you. We've worked with J&L for over 30 years now. They've always been good to us. They have never damaged any of our rims. Tire wear has been great. The alignment on them. Some services can't spin balance and do the alignment like J&L can. So we really recommend J&L. They do a lot of the emergency services. So.
Do you know disposal of 10 tires like that? Do they handle that? Or
They do. There's a cost to it, but they do get it. Yep.
I will just note that as of 12/31/24, the assigned fund balance account that contains funds from the towns from the previous contracts for these tenders and other rural fire equipment had $347,172 in it, and that's at the end of 24. So there's about another 100,000 going into that assigned fund balance in 25. And then our new contracts would go into place starting 1/1/26, which would further fund that that account with the goal of replacing one of these tenders within the next, I think it was 2030 was the first replacement of one of these tenders. So I think we would get our money's worth out of these tires as well.
Yep. So they last 10 years for us. So we try to find the right tire for the application, and we've had good luck with Goodyear's.
and even if the tires on the current tender were in good shape, it's not, you can't get it approved for use.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
yeah.
Yep. That's a DOT regulation. So.
I move to approve the purchase and replacement of 10 tires for the Fort Atkinson Fire Department tender 8191 at a cost not to exceed $7,877.90.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All, not, ugh, sorry. Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. And then 11I, review and possible action relating to the purchase of the fire department battalion vehicle, 2026 Ford F-350 crew cab with equipment and modifications at a cost not to exceed $125,511.91. Fire Chief Peterson.
Good evening. So I'm here to request the purchase of a new 2026 Ford F-350 crew cab pickup and necessary equipment to serve as a new command vehicle for the department. A dedicated command vehicle is a standard in modern fire departments because it allows the incident commander to respond immediately and manage incidents safely. It also allows our on-duty shift commander to operate as a true commander and respond to any call necessary, including EMS calls and service calls, without having to put an engine in service and empty our station to go on those types of calls. Presently, our department has no vehicle to fill this really important role. I detailed in the staff report really what a command vehicle is, but it really functions as a mobile command post. It also carries radio, lighting, command console, computer, and other equipment to operate emergency operation scenes. These vehicles are particularly important during critical multi-agency events where a command post is vital for communications, accountability, coordination with police, fire, EMS, public works, and mutual aid. Presently, our shift commander manages these incidents from the cab of the first arriving engine. This practice is severely outdated, unsafe, and really not consistent with modern firefighting practices. Inside that cab, the commander faces noise, radio overload, limited visibility, and a really restricted workspace in which can really hinder his decision-making and his communications with crews that are in the danger zone. Dedicated command vehicle solves these problems and also allows our commander to tow our department's boat and other trailered equipment as necessary. I'll note, although this is a new vehicle for our department in a new role, it's also replacing a vehicle that was donated 16 years ago by Enbridge that serves to tow our trailers. And that vehicle, after all that time, has finally reached the end of its service life as an emergency vehicle. So the base cost of the Ford F-350 is available through state bid at a price of $55,588.50, which is well below the retail pricing of that vehicle. This will be paid with a 2026 capital improvement fund, but I'm requesting this order now to get ahead of the pending price increase on January 1st. Outfitting this vehicle includes a bed cover, vehicle striping graphics, radios, and installation, wiring, emergency lighting, and a command console. So I'll note, although it is very expensive, this is more than just a simple pickup truck. It's really a specialized unit that has an extended life, like most of our vehicles, of at least 10 years in service as a frontline vehicle and another 5 to 10 years after that. And lastly, I'll note that this is with our new township contract, roughly a third of this cost is borne by the townships in our shared fire equipment fund. So with that, staff recommends approval to purchase the 2026 Ford F-350 crew cab, necessary equipment and modifications with the listed vendors for a total cost not to exceed $125,511.91.
I will just add that this was included in the CIP through the borrowing. Funds would not be expended until 2026 after those borrowed funds are received by the city. Estimated time of that is February of 2026.
Is it likely that this battalion vehicle would be the first on the scene?
Yeah, and that's its role, to be first on the scene, establish a command post, and start to set up operations for incoming units.
And operated by one person or with
Operated by one person,
so it
right.
would allow you to get there much quicker, have a vehicle that's more agile
Yep.
to move to
And then
position if
eventually-
needed.
100% right. And then eventually, as more commanders get there, I would go into the vehicle with them to assist. And as we have multi-agency events like we recently had with police and fire, That would be the mobile command post for the whole city to operate those really complex scenes, which you can't do in the front of a fire engine that's running at high RPMs, trying to pump water while the commander's in the front seat trying to talk to people.
Would a vehicle like this need to reposition based on what's going on the scene?
Sometimes we do. Sometimes we think we picked a great driveway to pull into and we get a vehicle in front of us, but we try to park down a little bit and at an angle that we can see the whole scene.
But if you did need to reposition, it certainly would be easier to move a
Much
vehicle
easier
like this
than the engine that typically parks a little bit past the scene.
And there's no lines.
And there's no lines coming off it.
Yeah. I move to approve the purchase of a fire department battalion vehicle 2026 Ford F-350 crew cab with equipment and modifications at a cost not to exceed $125,511.91 as included in the 2026 CIP.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 12, miscellaneous. Tonight we have none. Item 13, public comment for matters not on the agenda. The city council will receive comments from city residents. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per individual. Anyone wishing to speak is required to sign up in advance or state the name and address and subject matter when called upon. No action will be taken. Any of those on Zoom, please raise your virtual hand as we don't monitor the chat box. We again didn't have anybody in person tonight, so I'll do a first call for anyone on Zoom. Second call. Seeing none, we'll close out that and move on to item 14, claims, appropriations, and contract payments. With 14A being review and possible action relating to the verified claims presented by the Director of Finance and authorized payment.
I move to approve the verified claims as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. This is a roll call vote.
Councilman Huckabee,
Aye.
Councilman Johnson,
Aye.
Councilman Lesko Hair,
Aye.
Councilman Schultz,
Aye.
President Jacob.
Aye, motion carries. Item 15, adjournment.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.